What are we all doing in there? Why is there so many of us, huh? Hey, Bobby, get out of the coop, please. Come on, let's go. Are you having a nap, baby? Hi. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Homestead Knitting Podcast. My name's Danielle, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, crocheting, and yarn-related goodness. So today is March 31st, officially the end of the month when I'm filming. Sometime in the morning, so like the sun's out, it's just not in prime position, so some of the lighting may be off. However, this is a prime time for me to film because I don't have any obligations. So before I get into today's episode, I just want to say that I do know that there is a lot going on in the world right now, especially with the war going on between Ukraine and Russia, and obviously that hits very close to home for me because I am Ukrainian among other things, and my boyfriend is only Ukrainian, and he actually has family in the Ukraine that is affected by this, and I didn't know that, neither did he, till we had to go see his grandma. Unfortunately, this whole month has been kind of a write-off for me behind the scenes. There's been a lot going on. We had a family emergency on my boyfriend's side of the family, so it's been hard. Okay, so my only finished project this month, or I guess this podcast, will be these memory bears. I did make 3 of them. If you want to see all 3 of them, they are on my Instagram. They all look identical. It's for a family member that has passed away, and I thought these would make a really great gift for them. And these were made with loops and threads, impeccable. It's a worsted weight yarn. I did pick this up at Michael's, and it's 285 yards per ball. And I bought 4 thinking I was gonna need a bunch, and I used 1 full ball and a little bit, so I'm stuck with 2 3/4. So unfortunately, this will be hanging out in my stash for quite a while because it's just 100% acrylic. They did have Lion Brand woolies, however, I didn't know if anybody in his family was going to be allergic to wool, so I didn't want to pick it up. So yeah, these are my little memory bears, and this is the only finished object for this episode. And then I have a bunch of whips. Okay, so my first whip is this crocheted sweater that I've been showing on and off for quite a while now. If you've watched my podcast before, you've definitely seen this. This is something that I've been designing. I'm gonna make it into a cardigan, however, I definitely messed up, and I decided that I wanted to make it slightly smaller because I wasn't 100% on the fit. What happened was I seamed the shoulders. I didn't like how the front was sitting. I found it came in a little bit too wide, and I wanted more stitches at the neckline, so I ripped out stitches from both of the front panels and redid them. Looked great. Liked how it fitted in the front. But then the back had too many stitches now because the front no longer had nearly as many stitches. So we're just going to be frogging this and trying again. However, this time I do want to cast on from the top and then go down because I think I would like that a lot better for the fit versus trying to make bottom up in one piece. So I will be frogging this whole thing, and I just have my bag of random scraps because I'm trying to keep all the little scraps of yarn because I want to use up as much of them as I can before I actually open a new ball of yarn. So this will be project number 1 that I am just going to frog. And I will probably put this in the naughty corner for like another 6 months and not see it till the fall. So unfortunately, the stitch pattern was really easy. All the numbers worked out, just I didn't like how it fit. So time to frog it. So I guess this is gonna be a whip no more, I guess. Okay, whip number 2. I have my Stephen West Slip Stitch Extravaganza blanket, and this is being knit out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in their sport weight, and the colors I'm using are Oyster Heather for my main, And then I'm using pumpkin for contrast 1, hollyberry for contrast color number 2, and then I have chestnut for contrast color number 3. I have bought enough yarn to make this small size, and I'm getting closer to being done. So I have section number 1, which is a garter stitch circle here, done. I have section number 2 here, which is the honeycombs, and section number 3 here, which is the, I guess like the stripes, almost, lines and stripes maybe, stripes and dashes, I don't remember what it's called. Anyways, I finished number 3. I did it in about a week maybe. I like sat down, I did the increase row, and I just knit on this like crazy, and it was, I actually really liked knitting on it. But then I looked at the instructions to start the final row, which is like the bubbles, the knit bubbles, and it is also going to be like this crazy sort of increase row where you don't increase evenly, so I will have to sit down and like very carefully count out my stitches. And the other reason why I haven't picked this up yet is because I have it on a 60-inch cord, and at the bottom here you see it's all bunched up. I need to attach a bigger cord, and I just haven't felt like doing it yet because I'm worried that if I do a 32-inch cord it might be too small still, but I might just do a 32-inch. And I'm also going to have to wind up a little bit more yarn, and I just have not been in the mood for anything that requires a lot of effort, I guess. Just with everything going on, obviously my knitting and crocheting has kind of been keeping me sane, and just I don't really think I have the mental capacity right now to be able to knit a bunch of increases and make sure I'm increasing at the correct rate for the pattern to work out, so I haven't done that. I know I don't like winding yarn when I'm frustrated, or just not in the right headspace, because it always turns into a tangled mess and it takes about 4 times longer than it should. So I've just kind of put this one off into the corner for now. I haven't forgot about it, I'm just waiting till I'm in the right headspace and in a good mood to be able to sit down and work on this. So those are 2. I'm just sipping on some coffee right now. I was gonna make tea, but I was like, oh, there's still coffee left, I should drink that first. Okay, whip number 3. Been a while, I think, since I've showed this. I don't even remember the last time I would have showed this. Is that sweater I'm crocheting for my boyfriend. Obviously if you're new here, you've never seen it. I'm crocheting this with a 4.5mm hook, and the yarn is from Ice Yarns. The main color is Zerda Alpaca, which is an alpaca acrylic blend. I think it's a 70 acrylic, 30 alpaca. And then the red and the white chevron is a 50 acrylic, 50 wool, and it's called Favorite Wool. Okay, so this sweater I'm making with a 4.5mm hook, and it's for my boyfriend. The yarn is from Ice Yarns. I'm using Zerda Alpaca for the main color, which is the alpaca acrylic mix. 70% acrylic, 30% alpaca. And then for the chevron here, I have the black and the red, which is Favorite Wool. 50 wool, 50 acrylic. It does have a pocket built in here if you haven't seen this. And then there's just some basic cribbing on the bottom. This is a design of my own to fit my boyfriend, and it actually fits really well. I have not been able to get a picture or anything of him wearing it, just because it's just a quick try on for the sleeves, because I did a bunch of decreases in here to make it fit better, and it looks really great because of where it hits him on the shoulder. It almost looks like it did short row shaping of some kind, so it looks really great, and I really like that. And then this sleeve is somewhere around his elbow already, just with how it sits off the shoulder and with the shaping in that. And then this sleeve has another 15 more rounds or so added to it. I'm just waiting for my boyfriend to try it on, because when I get closer to the wrist area, I'm going to do the chevron pattern again, and then I will be doing the gray, like a little stripe of gray, and then I will be going back into the ribbing, just like I did at the bottom here, to give it the same look. And then in the neckline I will be adding a hood as well with a drawstring. I'm just waiting on my boyfriend to try it on, so this is definitely one of my long-term whips that just kind of gets worked on for a bit, and then it gets to sit in the corner till he tries it on, and then yeah, work on it some more. So I've made quite a bit of progress. I'm actually really happy with how the sleeves were. Originally I didn't have any decreases going, so what happened was I frogged the sleeves back 100%, and I am super happy with how the sleeves turned out. Again, I'm not following a pattern. This is just something that I designed for him because when he had asked me for a hoodie or like a sweater like this, there was none available in the market, or I think the only one that I could find, there was one like basic knit hoodie, and then there was one by Max the Knitter, I think, that was just released. It has like bunnies or like bears or something on it. He has a version for kids and a version for adults. I forget what it's called, but I did not want to buy the pattern because I actually didn't want to like knit the garment for myself or anything. I just want to kind of have a view of like how to shape the hood in that, but anyways, I didn't bother buying the pattern because I didn't think it was worth it for me to buy a pattern. I knew I was probably never going to knit, so I just said I'll figure it out myself, and so far so good. There's just been a lot of frogging going on with it, but that's okay. That's kind of what happens when I design for myself. Just you have to experiment, and oftentimes frogging is needed to be able to get the fit you needed, even if you're following a pattern that's already published, of course, depending on your body size and how the pattern is graded, or if you're modifying it in any way. So yeah, I do have 2 more whips to go. Okay, so whip number 3 is actually a new whip. I have not showed this off yet. This is a sock I am knitting for my boyfriend. He actually picked out this marled yarn here. The gray is Knit Picks Stroll. I think this is the colorway Ash, maybe. And then the other colorway here, this marled, is Peyton's Croy. Is it blue-gray marl, maybe? Blue-gray marl, that sounds about right. It has a lot of gray and white in it, to me, personally. And I actually cast this sock on for the sock make-along, hosted by Polar Bear Yarns over on Instagram. She also is a natural yarn dyer, and her yarn is very beautiful. If you have not checked her out, I would highly recommend you check her out, and if I remember, I will have her link down below. She also has a Mystery Yarn of the Month Club, where you can buy a skein of yarn and she will ship it out to you, and it will be a mystery skein of yarn, and she does half skeins and full skeins, and it also comes with mini skeins and you can pick your base. I think the theme for March was going to be coffee, and I did look into buying it. However, the shipping for the one set of yarn was going to be $20 or so, and I really wanted it, but I couldn't justify spending $20 because I only wanted a half skein, so it would have been $25 for the half skein and then $20 for shipping. That's the only thing that really sucks, because I live in Canada, and obviously she's based in the States. International shipping is so expensive here, and just shipping anything through Canada Post is very expensive, so I was really bummed, and I'm sure once she reveals whatever the colorway was for March, I'm gonna be so bummed that I didn't get it. I will keep an eye out on her shop though, in case she has any other skeins of yarn, or occasionally she has, I think she has bags occasionally posted in there as well, so I'll just be keeping an eye on her shop and seeing if there's anything else I'd like to pick up, and then seeing if she could like combine the shipping for me so it wouldn't be as expensive for just one item. Anyways, I'm knitting the Socks Magic Loop, of course. That's one of my favorite ways to knit socks. I'm knitting mine on 3mm needles, which is US 2.5, and this is Knit Picks. Yeah, Knit Picks. They're metal needles. Or is it? No, Knitter's Pride. They're Knitter's Pride metal needles. I really like the shape on them. And I like, the ends have a point to them, but they're not actually sharp, because I do have a pair of Haya Sharps DPNs, and I find them too sharp for me. And I do have a pair of the Chaigou, I think it is, 9-inch circulars. However, those are also extremely sharp, and it's almost to the point where I could actually stab a little hole in my skin. So I don't use them nearly as often as I would like to. And I also found that small circulars can cramp up my hands a lot more, so I have to take a lot more breaks. Okay, back to my sock. I cast on 60 stitches for my boyfriend this time, and I'm just knitting 2x2 rib. I've done 20 rounds for the cuff here, and my boyfriend likes extremely long socks, so I will be doing 80 rounds for the leg. And I think this time around I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset because of the way my boyfriend's feet are shaped. He has very skinny legs, and then right around the heel he gets a little chunky, and then the rest of his foot is very thin, so he likes his ribbed socks, which is fine. I've knit him short row heel socks with German short rows, and I cast on 64 stitches. However, they're a little bit looser in the leg and the top of the foot, so I'm thinking if I make a very, very small heel flap and gusset, they will be a better fit for him, and I'm going to try that out. I'll probably just put in a lifeline. Worst case scenario, I will just rip them out and do a short row heel, or I'll probably just do a short row heel with some added rounds of knitting. Who did I see do that? I know Kay of the Crazy Sockly has done afterthought heels where she'll knit a few rounds before she does the decreases, and I think I've seen somebody else say that if they were to cut in a short row heel, they also knit a few extra rounds. But anyways, I think I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset. I'm very undecided. Obviously I have a long way to go because they need to be 80 rounds long for the leg here, so this is my cast on for the sock make along. I should mention it's supposed to be a spring sock make along, so I do plan on casting on socks with these, the two pink colors here, like the hot pink, and then I have like the softer sort of like cherry blossom pink. I haven't got around to it yet. However, I live in Canada, and if you've ever seen or get to experience a Canadian spring, it's very different. Today is sunny. However, last night, once the sun went away, we were getting snow and like rain, and it goes from like -5 in the morning to like +14 by the end of the day, so they're all over the place. I think this colorway is actually very fitting for the spring we have experienced so far. We've already had snow, we've already had rain, we've had sunshine. It's very fun right now. So yeah, these are my socks. And then I have one other whip, and then I have a bunch of yarn to show off because I've been bad and I bought some yarn after I said I probably was not going to buy any yarn for the year. So the last time I showed this, it was only in pieces, so I'm very proud of what I've done. Here's my cardigan. I showed it off on Instagram, but it's really hard to see. So I have some reverse stockinette stitch, and then I have some 1x1 rib. And then at the bottom, I have not done a button band, I just did some 1x1 ribbing. It does pull in a little bit, however that's my fault. From where I seamed them on the sides, they pull in slightly. And then on the bottom, I did do 1x1 ribbing again. However, I'm so impressed with how this looks. I've never knit a cardigan, so this is a design all of my own. I just asked some people for some advice because I've never actually knit anything in pieces or crocheted anything in pieces and finished it. Because I don't like making things in pieces, because for a long time I didn't like seaming. However, I've kind of grown as a knitter and a crocheter from there. I officially will happily knit rib for miles and miles because the end product is worth it. I will finally take on the challenge of seaming things. For this sweater in particular, I tried whip stitching it and it looked horrible. I tried the mattress stitch and it looked horrible. I tried seaming it 4 or 5 different times, it just looked bad. So what happened was, I had it seamed and I wasn't really happy with it because it was just kind of loose and just looked not good. I knit the bottom ribbing, and then I was looking at my seam and I was like, oh, it looks really bad. So I actually went back, I unpicked the armpit stitches from where it was seamed together, and I unpicked the seam all the way down to the ribbing, and then on the inside I just grabbed my crochet hook and the stitches, and I actually just did a slip stitch seam on the inside, and I think it looks way better. And this is the seam that I wanted it to look like, and it looks the same on the other side. You cannot tell. I wish I would have done that on the arm, or like the shoulder, yes, like for the shoulder seam, because I'm not 100% happy with it, but that's okay. And then I did slip stitches around the arms, so it'll be super easy to pick up the stitches. And same with the front of the cardigan, I did slip stitch on the wrong, technically on the right side rows I did slip stitches just to make it easy to pick up stitches for the band. I didn't know if I was going to put buttons, but I like the idea of just having it open. And this is a slightly oversized cardigan on me. I have a 40-inch bust at the fullest, in case you're wondering. And it is drop shoulder, so it sits off the shoulder, and I think it looks amazing on. If I remember, I will put on the cardigan and insert a quick like little video of me wearing it, I guess. And I decided to knit the what do you call this, the sleeves separate, because I was having a day yesterday and every time I tried to pick up stitches it didn't look right. I've already tried to pick up stitches twice on one of the armholes and I didn't like the way it looked. Then I was picking up too many stitches, then I didn't pick up enough. Then I cast on too many stitches for my cuff, completed the whole cuff, went to knit it in the pattern, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, this doesn't add up. And I was like, there's the wrong number of stitches. So I think I started this sleeve over 2 or 3 times already. However, I am very happy with the product right now. For the ribbing, I'm using a 7mm needle, and for the stitch pattern in the gold here, or the yellowish gold, I'm using an 8mm needle, and again, these are my Knitter's Pride needles. I have a set of interchangeables, and I did buy the 3mm needles by themselves, and I love these needles. They are my favorite. I like how all of them are color-coded. I like the shape of them. Personally, I like metal needles over wood because I am a tailor knitter, but personal preference. So yeah, here's my little sleeve. And I should mention that I am kind of playing Yarn Chicken. So the yellow and the green was stuff I already had in my stash. It's actually from Ice Yarns. It's called Ethno Alpaca. It's I want to say it's an alpaca, merino wool, and acrylic mix. And I already made one project from it, so I only had a certain number of the yarn balls left, so I wanted to use up as much of it as I could, and I didn't want to buy any more. So what happened was, when I finished knitting the body, I only had one full ball of the yellow, or like the golden toned yarn left, and they come in 50-gram balls. So I had to split the yarn into a 25-gram ball. This one was 15 or 20 grams because I did have one smaller ball of yarn that would make it up to 25 grams, and then the other ball of yarn is 25. So I only have 25 grams of yellow yarn to knit 2 sleeves. But I have a bunch of the green left, so I figured worst case scenario I'm going to have to frog my sleeve back, and I'll make it kind of like a color block look. However, because it's a drop shoulder, and because of I'm not that tall, I think I will be able to get away with this much yarn plus a little bit extra to knit a full sleeve. Even then, if it sits kind of, I don't know, like maybe up here or something, like 3/4 length, I think that would also be super cute. But we'll see. I'm hoping I can make full sleeves out of this. And this is the first ever cardigan I've made, so I'm very, very proud of it. And I did weave in all my ends yesterday. You can see the little one sticking out here, but I know it's not going anywhere, so I'm not concerned. So that's all I have left for my whips. And of course, if I do remember, I will insert a short little clip of me trying it on to show you what this sweater looks like on. Okay, so for non-yarn but still like knitting related, I made a small order through Cara & Co., who I found out about through Zumo Crafts, who is also here on Instagram. She also has her own podcast she just started recently, and she is also on Instagram. She ordered these silicone beads through Car & Co. And she used them for needle stoppers, and I thought they were super cute. So I ordered some snowflakes for winter, some pumpkins that are fall themed. I ordered some little leaves, and then I have these. They're a very pale pink with little pink polka dots on them. They are actually marketed as like baby teethers and those sorts of things, but they make the cutest little needle stoppers, so I thought they'd be really great, so I made a small little order for them. Of course, they had to stop in at Michael's to pick up this brown yarn for the memory bears, and I did buy 4 balls, and I only used 1 ball in a little bit, so I'm stuck with 2, and however 2 and like 3/4, and again it's 285 yards per ball. It's a 4-weight yarn, it's 100% acrylic, and they recommend a 5mm hook. So yeah, it's just a basic acrylic yarn. And then I also picked up the same one but in blue, and this is I actually bought 2 balls of this, and I already have I already know exactly what I'm going to do with it. So at the beginning of the year, I went through all of my whips and just things that I had sitting that either need to be finished or need to get yarn to finish it, and one of them was a blanket that I'm making out of ice yarns. It's like a tube yarn, and then they fill it with, they blow the stuffing in it, and it's color changing, and to me it reminds me of peacock feathers. And I thought this blue yarn, what colorway is this? This is called Royal, which I think is very fitting, would go really, really great with the blanket I'm making because it needs a border. So I'm going to round the corners off because it's a giant hexagon blanket, and then I will put a border on it. And this is what these 2 balls of yarn will be perfect for. So I'm very excited to be able to finally finish that. And then the next yarn, I actually did not buy this one. I won it in a giveaway. And this was from Lisa, who is, I want to say Yarn Over Yarn Girl. It's YO Yarn Girl. If I remember, I will link her channel down below. She just started her own podcast as well, and I found her, and she knits a lot of socks, and of course I love sock knitting. I love watching people that knit a bunch of socks. And this is from her first episode. She did a giveaway. I commented before I realized it was even a giveaway because I was like, oh, yarn, socks, and I was just so excited. Lisa, if you happen to watch this episode, I want to say thank you so much for sending this to me. I actually found out that day I found out I was not having a good day because I found out about my boyfriend's relative being very sick, and she was sent home from the hospital to pass, basically. So this came in the mail just yesterday, and I was so excited to receive it. She sent along this little needle keeper. It says Daisy Girl, so I assume that's who the maker was. And it has these little sheepies, and this one's even, I think it's knitting. And they have little scars, and they're just so precious. And I actually don't even own a needle keeper yet, so I was so excited. So here it is, and it just has some snaps. So if you've never seen this, it's really great if you knit on double pointed needles, or if you knit magic loop. The point of it is to put your needles in the top here and snap them closed so they can't fall out. It is also the same idea as putting little stitch stoppers on the end of your needle tips. So I was very excited to get one of these because I want to try one out. I should also mention it came wrapped up in this beautiful blue tissue paper, and it came with a little bit of washi tape as well. And she did send me a little note in there, and then she sent me half of a set of the Share a Pair sock set, and this is by Mandy's Makings. She is, I know she's on Etsy. I don't know if she sells her yarn anywhere else. She says she has a website. And this is the color Old Farm Truck and Worn in Jeans. And it says hand wash cold, lay flat to dry. It's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And it is a set of 2 half skeins, approximately 231 yards of fingering weight per each skein. And honestly, this yarn is stunning. The blue here has some like speckles It is really, really beautiful, and it's very true to color on camera here today, so I'm very excited. There's even some purple and a little bit of yellow speckles in there as well. When I received this in the mail, I was honestly shocked because obviously you see the yarn in pictures or in a video and it looks really great, but then when you get to receive it in person, you get to touch it and you get to see the true colors. It's really beautiful, and I think these will make some absolutely amazing socks, and I actually might even cast these on instead of the other socks because I think these are very springy to me as well. Even the name Old Farm Truck and Worn In Jeans are very fitting for what I do here. If you don't know, the reason why my channels and my Instagram name is called Homesteadknitting is because that's actually what I do. I have chickens. In the summer, my boyfriend and I actually have 2 gardens. One of them is just potatoes and the other is a vegetable garden. And of course, I haven't like said it or like admitted it out loud, but gardening season is coming. So my knitting and crocheting time is gonna be depleting because I am the head gardener in this house. My boyfriend helps me get the garden in, but then after that, a lot of it does fall on my shoulders just due to his work schedule and how we have worked it out. However, if it's something that you like to see more of my content in the summer, of what I'm doing in the garden and what my garden produces, feel free to let me know. I don't mind sharing, I just don't want to share it if somebody's not interested, let's put it that way. I do have one more yarn order. I found this dyer, I think it was through a knitting group, somebody posted about them, or I saw an ad for them on Facebook, now I'm trying to remember. Anyways, this dyer is based in the US, so the shipping was slightly higher, however it wasn't horrible for what, because the shipping started at like $18, however, because I ordered multiple skeins, the shipping didn't go up very much. Like I think it was $22 some for all the shipping, which I thought was really reasonable. So this dyer is based in the US, and I bought 2 mystery bundles from them, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And this is Round Mountain Fibers. They are hand-dyed in Vermont. And a little bit about the dyer. So it says the yarn is grown and spun in the USA, hand-dyed in Vermont using greener shades dye, which is certified for organic processing and free of heavy metals. And it says to wash by hand. Yeah, so just hand wash. Okay. And the bases I got are all spruce fingering, which is 100% superwash merino. And this yarn bundle I got is 400 yards per 100 gram skeins. Here's is my first skein here. And this is the colorway Nuthatch, which is inspired by a bird. If you do not know what a nuthatch is, it's a little bird you could see in your yard basically that would come along and come have snacks. So this yarn is stunning and I am in love with it. And then the other 2 yarns that came in this bundle is, this one's called One of a Kind. I don't know if you can tell, but it has this colorway in there actually, so it matches perfectly. And then there's this one that came as well, and there's a little bit of this color I thought in there, or it's very, very close. Yeah, One of a Kind, Nuthatch, and this one's also just called One of a Kind. Oh, okay, so they're both called One of a Kind. However, I thought this would be perfect to make a Cozy Classic Light by Jessie May, and I'd start the top here with this lovely Nuthatch yarn and then go down into the One of a Kinds, because this should be just enough yarn for me to make a full length sweater for myself, because it's 1200 yards, or is it 1200 meters? 1200 yards, so that should be more than enough for me. A sweater that would take around 1200 yards for my West size, which is about 40 inches around. Let me know. I want to discover more sweater patterns. I don't know enough. The other bundle I ordered is also a mystery bundle. Check this out. This is also the spruce fingering. Isn't this stunning? So this purple one is called Hummingbird Purple, which is so fitting. This multicolored one is called Mandarin Duck. Absolutely stunning. I feel like the purples, yeah, this is more like closer to the purple, but then I feel like the yellow gets a little blown out because it's definitely like a goldeny yellow, almost orange. And this is called Barn Owl Brown. And I think these would look really lovely all together. And this is 600 yards of fingering weight yarn. However, for me to make a summer top, I think I need just over 600 yards, so I don't know what to do with it yet. However, I saw this skein and I was like, oh, it's so pretty. And then I saw Pip and Pin. They came out with the Aster tee. I think it just released, and it uses mini fingering weight skeins and then a main color, and it's just a t-shirt and has these little like knit flowers almost all over the top, and then it's just like plain for the bottom, and then it has these little short row sleeves. So I thought this might actually be a really great substitute to use instead of mini skeins, but I'm really unsure. Anyways, okay, so this yarn dyer, Round Mountain Fibers, had their mystery skeins listed for very cheap. I think it's about 50% off their regular price for the yarn. So this bundle here cost me $22.50 US, and for 3 full skeins of yarn, it was $45 US. On their website, one skein of yarn is typically, I think it's around $30 US, like $27 US, something like that. So of course, $45 US for a sweater quantity of yarn was a really, really great deal, and $22.50, just short of enough to make a t-shirt. Absolutely amazing in hand-dyed yarn for me. I will link their website down below. I don't know if they have any mystery bundles left. However, with their mystery bundles, it tells you like which base they have, and you can pick the base and how many skeins you want, because you can go up to 4 skeins per bundle, and it's $60 US if you want 4. If you wanted 4 100-gram skeins, it's $60 US for their mystery bundle. So I thought that was really awesome, and they even asked you a bunch of questions. Oh, excuse me. After you pick up the bundles you wanted, they ask you questions, because they do dye their yarn by collection. So they have their bird collection, they have like an aquatic collection, I think they had a plant collection as well. And they ask you what colors you want, is there a collection you want or you don't want, and there's a little section to leave little notes for the yarn dyer there. So I thought that was really awesome. And of course, if you're somebody who is like me, who doesn't always have the most money to spend on yarn, this is a great opportunity to be able to get hand-dyed yarn at a cheaper price to make it more affordable. But I understand not everybody can sell their yarn that cheap, because it is a lot of work to make it, so I totally understand. Anyways, that's all I have for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're working on something and you're like me and you're feeling frustrated, or you cast on something new, feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and hopefully in the next few weeks I will have some more new content to post. Oh, before I go, so I did only accomplish 2 of my yarn goals for March, which would be to cast on a new pair of socks for my boyfriend. Did that, and then I also did organize my yarn cabinet. It does look a little bit different. However, I did film it, but I didn't really like how the footage came out, so I think I might just do a yarn tour of the inside of my cabinet, because I do have a few cool vintage yarns from my grandma, and just some randoms, and just a little of everything sometimes, I feel like. So anyways, that's all I have for today's video. So if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you're new here, thanks for sticking around. Later.